This is Too Long for a Voice Note, a podcast about everything and nothing at the same time, presented by Claire
and Enzo. Our podcast is produced in London. Some conversations are just too long for a voice note.
Hey, she's Claire.
and he's Enzo.
And this is Too Long for a Voice Note. Hello, guys! Welcome.
Thank you so much for joining us again.
It's 2022. We are finally first episode of the year.
Yeah, so happy to be back.
And have you noticed something different,
I
Claire?
don't know, is there anything different? I can't tell. But guys, we got a new mic.
A new set.
New set.
New vibe.
We are here
new
for
year,
it.
new us.
New year, new us. So we just thought we'd change things about a little bit. And,
Yes, so excited. We have a new brand,
a new microphone.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so great.
So yeah, we were thinking about to get a new microphone a long time. I think it's really cool that we start the year with something new.
Fresh.
And like,
Yeah,
it's very exciting.
For sure. But please do leave any comments and feedback on the new set if you're liking
And
it,
if you like it.
Change it.
What do you
have
think
a
about the
mic.
sound as well?
Exactly. Please do let us know. How have you been?
It's been
Enzo?
amazing. It's been a really cool like end of the year, start of the new year.
Yeah.
Well, for the podcast as well, we're part of FitSpot like 80. Like there's a ranking of the best podcasts of the pop culture on the web. So we're very cool because we're on the list and we're very thankful for that.
Thank you guys
We're
so
getting
much
a
for
lot
that.
of good like reviews on Spotify and Apple and like YouTube following us. So that's really exciting.
Yeah.
So thank you for supporting us because
thank
now we have a new mic. That's why we have a new mic.
Exactly. So thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you guys so much. And for all of that. So it's definitely a positive start to the
Amazing.
To the year.
So we're
for
like
us.
starting the year like boom.
Strong. We've been like releasing a lot of material on
Yes.
YouTube and our Instagram, as Enzo said, and TikTok and all of that. But it's been a minute since we've done an
It's
episode.
the first episode in a long
'cause
time,
we did
right?
our 2021 Wrapped. We'll leave a link to that in the cards now. But
That
this
was
is
the
our
last
first
one.
episode back,
Yeah.
so-
I really like that episode. I think it's really cool to like wrap up things, kind of like reflect because we forget about things that happen. And I think it was interesting because I think someone left us a comment saying like, oh yeah, like 2021 was a bit rough, but I'm glad to watch the podcast and see like maybe not everything is difficult. There's some things that you can pick up on that are really good and really positive. So the type of comments are really nice because they're like, I mean, sometimes things are shitty, but there's always something that you can like take out of it.
So
It's good.
encouraging, and we honestly do read everyone's comments all the time, and it like encourages us so much to keep going. So thank you so much for all
Thank
of
you
that.
so
and
much,
Thank you.
guys.
Okay, so whose week is it this
Business.
week? Business time. On to the episode. I think it's my week. So
It's Claire's week.
Time for Claire's secret topic of the week. Okay,
So,
so
it's
ready for my
Clarita's week.
secret topic. And so Sebastian
What,
Niveletta.
what's happening? This is like a deep thing. What we're talking
you're in
about.
for a bumpy ride.
All right, okay,
I
I'm
want
prepared.
to talk about dating apps.
Dating apps.
We're gonna go there.
Oh,
Dating
wow.
apps, online dating.
What a fun ride
So-
is a dating app.
Let's get into it. The way that, I'm going to start by reading some definitions for you because I don't want to assume that everybody just like knows what all of these kind of terms are.
Okay, yeah.
Ghosting. I think we all know. Do we all know what ghosting is? But
Okay.
ghosting is a relatively new colloquial dating term that refers to abruptly cutting off contact with someone without giving that person any warning or explanation
So
for
you
doing
basically
so.
just disappear and
You
you don't
just-
say no reasons, you just like vanish.
Bye.
Okay, fair enough.
This is very interesting, and I
Okay.
think that I'm definitely experiencing this right now. You definitely
Alright,
experienced this
okay.
too. And it's called orbiting. Have you heard of this?
Orbiting. No.
So, like ghosting, orbiting is when you break off direct contact with someone you're dating,
Oh
but you
my
continue to engage with their content on social media, as in orbiting, like a planet
right.
kind of thing.
It's really cool. It's like literally like a new definition
Yeah.
for this new age of
Which
the type of way of dating
It's
communication.
fascinating, right?
Right,
Because
so
ghosting is like
crazy.
when you're just gone, bye bitch. I guess you have a nice life.
It's funny, like it's like a ghost. Like, is it a ghost because it's scary, or it's just because it's like kind of like
Both.
both? Is it both? Right? Is it because it's scary as well? Well,
Oh my
okay.
god. I want to talk about like our experiences of dating apps, kind of
Alright.
like, we don't have to go too in, but
Okay,
we'll go
okay.
a little bit in.
Okay, fine.
And I want to kind of talk about, I believe that they kind of lead to quite terrible behaviour.
Okay.
And I want to know why we think this is.
Yeah.
And then maybe talk about, is there another way? So that's kind of how I see this
Interesting.
going.
Okay,
So
I
Enzo,
like
do
this.
you want to talk to me a little bit about your
About
experience
dating
with dating
apps.
apps?
Okay. Well, I have to say for me, dating apps are like, I mean, the first time I used a dating app was I moved to London. It was my second year in London. It's the first time I used a dating app because back in Venezuela I never did.
Yeah.
Then because it wasn't, that was like 6 years ago and it wasn't like a big thing.
But you were young, like a lot
and
younger,
I was younger as well. You were young. I'm still young, alright? Alright, lady.
Like, you take that back, woman.
But yeah, I was younger, very younger, but yeah, I didn't use like dating apps back in the day. I think it wasn't a thing even. Like I don't know.
It wasn't.
It was starting to become something. So it was at first I found them a bit, and I think a lot of people have this feeling of they're a bit feel scary a bit because it's kind of like it's a different way to expose yourself on Instagram, for example, but expose yourself on a dating app. It feels a bit like you're in a showroom in a way, and you're kind of like putting your photos. You think so much like what vibe you want to give, like, oh, I want to look here cool, but then I want to look like casual, but then not to pose, and I want to look creepy. So you start thinking about, it's kind of like you edit yourself a lot, and I found that experience very weird. And also the description is like, you can, at the beginning, I play like the Latino card. It's like from Venezuela. And actually, it got me a lot of messages. People were like, oh my God, you're from Venezuela. Because, people like, oh my God, he's not from here. He's from Latin America. And I get a lot of like, oh my God, I bet it's such a beautiful country. Well, yeah, it is. That's why I'm here. And the whole experience was weird because it's kind of like you're selling yourself in a way. It's like it's not like a CV of you're applying for a job. It's more like you're in a showroom and you're like, in a few words and in a few photos, you need to look maybe interesting enough for people to swipe or whatever it is, or like, or write, sending a message. Overall, I met a lot of like cool people through apps, which is the thing. Sometimes people are very like demon, like, oh no, apps horrible, weird people, but actually I met a lot of great people there.
That's really good. You've had like a good experience in general.
Overall, I met obviously weird people, and you get messages, but you shouldn't get like too like affected by those messages. Like I feel sometimes kind of like, oh, it's about me, I'm giving a vibe and something. No. It's not. Weirdos are everywhere, and people are trying at the end. Yeah. So just kind of like ignore those. But I think overall, I felt like I date amazing people through apps. I think I didn't have like a lot of like traumatic experiences, but I do feel it's a bit strange. I cannot say that I like it, for example. I don't think it's like a comfortable place to be. Also, it's a bit boring for me overall.
So I think one of the things I kind of want to pick up on is I actually read this really interesting article. I'm going to leave a link for our YouTube watchers in the description to the article. She's talking about kind of like the female experience of dating apps. So this is something that I did want to talk about. So she said that in a 2019 survey, it did an investigation into 1,200 women who had used dating apps. They all said that they had been sexually assaulted by somebody they had met through a dating app.
Oh, wow.
Half of these women said that they were raped.
Oh my God.
Fuck. And even because I think people say, oh, well, there's Bumble, which is meant to be like they advertise themselves as like the feminist app, but women have had exactly the same experience as like Tinder and Hinge or
Clearly
something.
Men are the problem.
So yeah, it's this kind of a thing. One thing that I really don't like about dating apps is, and I think this is kind of, I wonder if you think this is where this like, for me, when I say like terrible behaviour, I think ghosting is terrible behaviour. Orbiting, that kind of like you're not in but you're not out, I actually don't think it's that bad.
I think that's kind of funny, to be honest.
I think it's frustrating, but I think we've all orbited, probably.
Yeah.
Have you ever ghosted anyone?
Ghosted. Probably, I don't remember. Probably have. Like.
Yeah. Have you ever been ghosted as well?
I think I have never been ghosted. I think so.
I think we're too cute. No, we're like too charming. Like, why would you want to ghost these little faces?
Why?
Let's orbit till the end of time.
No, I think I haven't been ghosted. And times, I think there's sometimes I felt that I was, but then this person turned into orbiting me. Like, I have people that maybe I was expecting maybe a reply that I didn't get back, but then this person is checking my stories forever, or they whatever. For example, I have people on my Instagram stories checking my stories, people that I dated 5 years ago.
It's mental.
And like we never, and I remember one of these, like we didn't meet again because he didn't reply back.
Yeah.
But he still looks at my stories until today. Today he looks at my stories.
So
like
funny.
So it's a bit this orbiting thing forever. Yeah. It's kind of like, I don't know why you do it.
I think one of the big problems with dating app culture is it kind of makes people seem disposable. And this is what I really don't like about it, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's like, and I do wonder if this is sort of like a feminist thing, because it's kind of like about like rating women.
Shopping.
Yeah. And also there's always that feeling, and I don't know if this is like a capitalist thing or like always something better. You always think like, oh, there can always be somebody better. And I don't know if that's dating in general or dating app culture, but it's so easy because it's when it's at your fingertips.
Yeah. But you don't feel you rate men as well when you see them at the app?
Probably.
That's the thing.
Oh, God.
But I feel...
You got me there.
Oh, yeah. You're like, oh. You're like, what about this?
But it's like...
Yeah. No, but I get from... Yeah, this is the thing, like, for women also, I think women always goes a bit farther.
Yeah.
Like, you may do it as well, for women goes farther, because then it's a bit of like, when it goes to abuse as well. For
me, it's really terrible when you actually have, like, a relationship with somebody, like, you've been seeing them for weeks, and then you ghost them.
Okay.
Or you treat them, because ghosting is like basically treating somebody like they're disposable, right? It's like it's not having the courage to say I don't want to date with you, and then you orbit because you're still interested in that person,
but you're not.
But you're thinking about different options,
and
it's like I don't know, like it's I think it's quite like it's quite bad behavior because it's not really a way to like treat somebody. I think ghosting when you kind of have had like one date. You probably still owe that person an explanation if they're keen. But if you ghost them like when you're still messaging, I think that's all right.
I think part of the dating culture is that thing of you said before, being disposable, because it's kind of like you can maybe go on date for 10 different people in the same week, and you can just stop replying to some of them to make it easier for you as well. Kind of like, oh, from the 10 people I saw this week, like the one I saw the third day, so I want to keep going this. And you just decided to ignore the rest, so it's easier for you to... Because, you know, like, if you know the person that you met likes you back, that person probably will ask you for some explanations. Like, if you go like, hey, sorry, I don't think I want to see you again because I don't think I didn't feel that. So maybe the other person could be like, why you felt like that? Did I did something? It depends on the person. Did I say something wrong? Did I whatever? Maybe the other person will ask you for questions back or like explanations on why you felt this way. And maybe there's no explanation. Maybe you don't want to go through it. Maybe you're like, oh, fuck it. I don't want to have a conversation with this person that I really don't care.
But then if the other person does like you and they kind of say, oh, I have interest in seeing you again, I think you kind of do. Even if it's just been like an evening, like a drink. It's a decent thing.
I think it's a decent thing. Yeah, I know, I understand. You're like... I understand the point of it, like, it doesn't cost you anything to go through that.
It doesn't.
But I think a lot of people are very avoidant and want to go through, like, because you don't know what the other person will come up with. What's going to come back. Have you ever felt, like, any type of, like, aggression or, like, type of attack or anything during a date? Or have you like, a lot of stories of people being attacked? Because I feel sometimes there's a lot of fear from dating apps because people feel that they're too vulnerable and people feel they're gonna go to a place and this person could be really a bad person, but and they can hurt you, they can be aggressive, which I understand, but I think it's more, I feel like anyone could be, I mean, you can go to a bar and you can meet a man or a woman and this person could be a killer. There's no way to know this, so I think it's a bit of a stigma.
You're upping the chances. But I have to say one thing that is really toxic that we talk about all the time. When I'm going on a date, what do? Like, I have a shower, I get ready, I go, and then I share my location with Enzo. That is so... Thank God I have you, but that's really bad. That it's just like a done thing that you know where I am and you're tracking my location because we don't know who the man is that I'm going to meet kind of thing.
But that goes back to the same thing about men and society, because I feel like I don't do that with my male friends. I will. I mean, if they want to. And I'm not
tracking your location if you were going on a date.
Yeah,
for example.
You know what I mean.
What?
Like why? Like, and I will. I mean, I will be obviously if my friends like, oh, this is my location. We will, of course, I will check it. But it never happened with men because we feel again, men are the one that used to be like can be aggressive, can be abusive women, and blah blah blah. That's why, and I think that's super fucked up. Have you ever felt like any type of fear or like a bit of kind of like?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like, like I guess probably like not okay behaviour has happened after like a date has been escalated. And I think that like obviously like when I ended up like having sex with that person, but I think that kind of dodgy, some things that I think in hindsight were actually really, really dodgy. And I do wonder if they kind of would have done that if I'd been in their actual life. Like, if it's like a friend, you know, for example, and again, I think this is really wrong, because I wonder if, like, you're less likely to kind of ghost or sexually assault, treat somebody horribly if they're like a mutual friend, because then the mutual friend will go back to your friend and say like, excuse me, what the fuck, why did you do that to Claire? Whereas like for this person, like, we're not in each other's lives,
you're just like a number, you're like a thing like, on an app.
But you're not, and this is the thing,
that's the thing,
you're not, you're an actual real person. And I think this is the really toxic thing about dating app
I think
culture.
it goes hand to hand with the same thing about social media. Like, people think that the person on the other side is not a person, it's a tweet or an Instagram or like whatever
so
it is.
True.
It comes from
and
that,
actually,
right?
in this article as well, they were saying that these apps, like, don't forget, these apps are designed, like Instagram, to be addictive, to keep on swiping. Oh, there's something better. Oh, how many likes am I going to get? And it keeps you hooked. And but actually, no. These are real people. I don't know if that's taking it a bit too seriously, and I do think maybe I do take it a bit too seriously. But like, it's like that's another, like you say, like if you're leaving like a hateful comment on somebody's Instagram, like that's, you know, like, oh, by the way, like now we've reached a new level of like fame on the Instagram. I got a little bit of like hate. I was like, oh my god, I feel like J-Lo. I was like, literally. Oh my god, I know what J-Lo feels like. But it's like, you know, that's the thing. Like, I was thinking like I'm a real person, and like, and especially with, you know, again, I don't think when you're, because you can be messaging like 20 guys on like Hinge,
which is
for
totally
example, you never meet them. When you meet them, the whole game changes. When you actually,
I think it's a bit, you feel like it's more a bit of a moral thing. Like,
I think so too.
You know, like we met, at least if we don't like each other, we should be like, hey, thank you for the time, not interested. And at least it could be like even like a really like formal message that says like, hi, thank you, but I'm not interested anymore. When you go, because the thing goes thinking about like ghosting dates and fears that people has when they're going on a date. Have you, when you go on a date, you feel some type of pressure to maybe need to have sex with this person? Do you think you come to the date thinking like, oh, I may need to, not because it isn't like you're forced to, but in a way you may feel like, oh, if we're going to meet and we are interested in each other physically through the app, that means that this needs to lead to sets at the end of the night. You have that pressure.
I do feel pressure. I think it's not I get worried about like at the end of the night, like what if he leads in for a kiss and I really don't want to, what am I going to do
if you react maybe
like that kind of thing. And like I actually always have a kind of like, right, this is how I'm kind of going to get out of it kind of plan, which is really, really wrong. But I think that is something that, again, is with dating app culture. It's like you think because you meet somebody, I think also I would argue maybe dependent on the app. I wonder if like Tinder, because obviously Tinder for straight people is a bit more of a like hookup sex app kind of thing.
For gay people it's more like serious,
more relationship,
like more relationships
kind of thing.
Funnily,
Whereas like Hinge and Bumble, I would say, is a bit more, can be, of course it can be just sex, but like more of like a relationship type thing.
But where do you think that pressure comes from? Why do you feel like that? Why do you feel like meeting with someone means that have to go ended up in sex? Is it because it's a dating app?
It's not that I think that it needs to. Of course, like I know you're not saying that, but I do wonder if they're thinking it. I think I'm completely comfortable saying we're not having sex, but I'm thinking, are you thinking that we're going to have sex? And like, please don't ask me, because I'll do it if I want to. But I think it's probably just because it's like, because it's not organic, right? It's like you are meeting because you presumably find each other physically attractive.
It's not like a setup. It's
not,
kind of like
and it's not like Friends. It's like that just happens naturally. Or like you might meet somebody at a party, but you talk normally. You like talk as like normal people, but it's like we are here at this bar because presumably we both might quite like to have sex with each other. So it's like obviously there's something with that.
I really understand why people feels like dating apps and all these processes really uncomfortable, because if you think about it, you're going to a place and you're playing a part. You're like, we're gonna choose a place, we're gonna sit together, you're gonna sit together with a stranger you have ever seen in your life. And you know, I don't know, I think it happens to you as well, because I think we're similar that way. Sometimes you see someone and straight away you know, you feel a vibe and you're like, I don't like that person. You know, I think I'm like that, and I think you are like that sometimes as well. Like we really guide ourselves by like vibes or what we feel, the energy, blah blah blah. So it's weird because through a dating app you cannot feel the vibe of the person. Maybe it's a beautiful person, it checks all the tick all the boxes that whatever you like from a person, but then you meet the person has such a fucking like high, heavy energy, and you're like, ugh. So that's part of it. So it's kind of, you need to go to this place with this person. You don't know how this person actually is. You don't know like how they react, how they do. It's kind of like a acting session. You go and you're basically sitting in front of each other like selling yourself.
Yeah, it's like an interview.
It's basically like an interview. It's so weird. I don't understand why people find dates so annoying, especially in dating apps, because it's like an interview. You're kind of like playing a part. It's like, what you do, what's your star sign, do you like this? It's so like, so, which I appreciate sometimes when you have a date and you feel, I have been on dates that I feel totally like natural with the person, and I'm like talking about coffee or whatever we need to talk about, and it's less than
thinking about conversations.
Because I hate to sell, like, I don't need to fucking sell myself, you know? I don't like the idea. Yeah. Like, why I need, also, like, I think we are much more than a presentation, you know? You cannot show who you are in a fucking date. But I think sometimes you don't have that pressure sometimes. Like, you need to go and, like, I need to show, like, in this window of 2 drinks, everything I am.
You know, also, I noticed this, I mean, we don't really have it now, thankfully, like, with our friends, because, like, we're in our 30s, probably a bit more secure, but I noticed this when I was in my 20s, but I notice it now with dating. If I have to feel like I'm performing, then I know I'm fucked. He's not the guy for me. Because it's like, if I'm like lying, or like not lying but like exaggerating something, then I think, Claire, why? Like you don't need to try and be somebody then you're not. And I think then, of course, we're all putting our best foot forward on the first date. For sure, of course, that we are in the interview as well. But if you're kind of like, not even that you're having to struggle to bring up conversation, because I do think that's natural, and you've probably prepared some like topics, and it's a bit like kind of thing. But if that, then I think no, then that's when I kind of know.
You know, for me on dating, I think my fear when I go on a date, or when I used to have dates, it's like the topics. I always feel like, and I think I can talk shit, and I can talk about anything, plans, and I can talk about a table, and I can talk about whatever, you know, we can talk literally, but that's why we have a podcast. I think I don't have problem to talk about any topic at all, because for me, fine. But when I go on a date, I automatically feel pressure, and I feel like, what if I get out of topics? What if I have nothing to talk about?
Didn't you have that date with that Italian guy many moons ago, like a while ago, that guy, and then you had that problem that you couldn't, he's not going to watch it, so don't worry if he's, imagine if he's watching it somewhere. But you found it really hard to like bring up conversation kind of thing.
That date for me, it was like it was my nightmare not because nothing about the guy. I think he was he
was really good looking, that guy.
It's like, the thing is, like, as soon as I met him, I felt like our energy didn't connect. I was on a date, and it was a horror, because that was my worst nightmare on a date. It's like, I don't know, like, every single topic I was trying to bring, it was like dead end.
Oh, bless him.
And I was like, you know, this, and everything was nothing. So it was a bit like, I was struggling. And then it was end of the first drink, and I was like, okay, I want to go home. So I was trying like, so he was like, oh, do you want another drink? I want to get another drink for us. And I was like, okay, he still wants to be. And, you know, I really don't have the balls to be like, I really want to go, bye. Okay. I felt like I was being very mean, because also it's not, if it was a fucking bitch, I would be like, bye. Yeah. But, you know, I didn't have in me to tell this person like, no, thank you, I'm going.
I
was like, all right. I was like, it doesn't really want another drink. Like, what the fuck? All right.
But he was obviously loving it.
Somehow, that's like I was like, right. We had another drink, and then when we finished that drink, I was dying inside, and then I told like, well, shall we ask for the bill? He was like, oh really, you really want to go? You don't want to have another drink? And I was like, fucking hell no, I want to go home. I was like, you know, melting inside. It was horrible. And I was like, oh no, because I need to work tomorrow, you know, some skills, whatever. It was like 6:30. He told me like, it's really early. I was like, yeah, go to bed.
Oh my god, get the hint, man.
Yeah, I was like, I go to bed early. As if, you know, like, what the fuck. And then like, and then the guy actually, he wrote me back, kind of like, and he wanted to like kind of meet again. And I was like, oh no, well, this, that, then he got the hint. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Is he following you on Instagram?
Yeah, he checked the...
Orbiting.
So it was funny. And at the end, when we were going to the station, I was like, oh, I think you're very shy. He told
said that
me.
to you?
Yeah. And I was like...
The absolute opposite of shy. Shy is one word I will never use to describe you, and
I was a bit like offended. Not because nothing about being shy, because like, bitch, you're forcing me to this date. I'm trying to talk, to read a conversation, to try to take something out of you, and you can tell me like I'm rude. I'm a fucking bitch. We're shy.
You're so
I'm
not
like,
shy.
What? I told him like, I'm not shy at all. Maybe that was just perception, but I'm not shy at all. I think
he was projecting.
Maybe because he was really, really, really shy. That's why it wouldn't work
Yeah.
for me, because I cannot deal with shy people. I'm sorry. No. I cannot.
I had a date with an Italian guy. That was probably my worst one. That Italian. Imagine if he is watching the Italian English guy. He's not going to watch.
I hope he is.
I hope he's not watching that one. But again, very similar. Like we were having, and I think this is so. Come at me if you want to say that this is wrong, people. But I think this is very straight man. The audacity of straight men, the nerve of straight men sometimes, because. We were having a drink. We had a drink, and I thought, okay, fine. But again, that same thing. I saw him.
You were like,
not unattractive, but I was like, nah, never gonna happen. We're not even gonna kiss. It's not gonna happen. Mm-hmm. And we got a drink. Then he ordered a second drink, and so it was awful because he was just talking about himself the entire time. And again, massive turn off for Claire. Do you remember he was talking about how much money he earns?
Oh, that's like...
that. If you are out there and you want to date me, don't do that, because I don't...
If you need to talk about money to validate yourself, that's no
interest at all. No interest. And, but yeah, then he was like, would you like another drink? And I was like, no, thank you. I'm going to call it a night. And he was literally like...
I wasn't able to do it. I was like, no.
I was just like, his face was like, really? So obviously in his world, he was like, and you could see his little face, like, what?
Yeah, because maybe he felt rejected. It's like, how dare she to reject me?
It really felt like that. And I thought...
Sorry, Brad Pitt.
Yeah, you have... Oh, do you know what he said to me?
What?
Do you know what he said to me? Everyone's got a podcast. Like, allow you.
You were like...
Allow you. I was like, do you?
Me?
Do you remember the chef? And I was like, I can cook pasta.
Like, everyone can cook pasta, bitch. What about that?
I was like, you're so fucking rude. And, I tried this thing more in my life, kind of like, this is going off a little bit off topic, but it's sort of like you don't have to have another drink. You can go. You can leave. Time is precious.
Right.
We're so busy. I was thinking, no, I don't owe you anything.
Yeah.
I neither do you. I'm out of here.
Do you think you have like one, like, from everyone that's listening, and maybe they haven't had like a
internet date,
or maybe they are afraid to have more, blah, blah, blah. You have any like suggestion or something that you think you should keep in consideration with dating?
Really good question. One piece of advice that I would give is, because for me, I don't really like to, but I haven't actually said, but I don't really love dating apps. I am on dating apps, but I really struggle with them. I tend to kind of like meet somebody, have a relationship with them, then be like completely devastated. And then need a break, and then like go back on.
You need a bit more of Gen Z energy, Claire. That's a problem. You need to be a bit more.
And like, I really find it hard to date multiple people. But so do you as well.
Multiple people is hard.
Oh my god, who has the time? Anyway, but I don't like messaging for a very long time. I like, okay, we've matched, boppity bop bop. Let's meet. We're gonna carry on, get it done, bucket full of fun, or we're gonna be axed. I would say. Oh, it's so painful when our friends are in these situations, and it's like, I've been trying to meet him for 3 weeks. It's like, I don't have the patience for that. So I would say try to meet them quickly, and then let's go forward. Let's axe.
That's a good one.
That's one. How about you? Would you go?
I think it's good to, like, for your ego and for your self-esteem and your mental health, just always think like it's just like. A dating app doesn't have to be a validation of who you fucking are, if you don't get the matches you want, if someone that you really like doesn't reply you back or whatever, that doesn't mean that you are more worse or less or more, you're just representing yourself through some random photos and 2 lines that describe yourself in theory, which is absolutely bullshit. No one can be summarized in like 2 lines.
It's such a good point.
Maybe Boris Johnson we can say like he's a motherfucker. You cannot feel like if people are not replying to you or liking you back or matching or whatever, you shouldn't get your like self-esteem down and everything because you're just representing yourself with some photos. Like, this is who you are. It's not. Some photos and some lines doesn't represent you, so don't take it that personally. That's the thing.
Very
you don't know them, they don't know you, and that's it.
But also, to add to that, please, often straight men don't use women that you've maybe fucked or that you kind of have a thing with to get your validation again, because that's really, really bad.
Yeah, really bad.
Because I think a lot of men, maybe girls as well, let's say a lot of people use dating apps and then Instagram, if you've like made it onto Instagram, to get validation.
So
but it's like you're playing with people's emotions. Of course, if it's like you haven't met or whatever, but if you've been dating for a while, then you are kind of like playing with people's feelings. So like, grow up, kind of thing. And like,
I've heard many times people saying like, oh, look at the amount of matches I have on Tinder. Look, all of these people swipe right for me.
It's like cringe.
It's like, and you know what I mean? It's like, I have swiped like I've seen a person that is literally a perfect human being for whatever the society thinks is perfect, and I swipe to the other side because I don't like the person. So you know what I mean? It's not about, it is such a personal thing. So it's not about like, all the people swipe for you right, whatever, I forgot where it is, right? Yeah, right is like yes, right? Forgot. Left is no.
Left is right.
I think right.
Two old people trying to work dating at right, left.
Well, they like you, whatever they did. Like, you know, it's just people like, some people are just looking for having this list of people they like. Some people are just looking for validation. That is very negative. It's just like, so don't take it personally.
Yeah,
you know, don't take it personally, because it's the same as people, if someone comes to your Instagram and tells you in the photos like, oh, fuck you, bitch. It's like, I think,
exactly.
What?
Also,
you know what I mean? It's like
if somebody ghosts you as well, for example, because I know maybe people are watching and they've been ghosted or something like that. Yeah. Then again, please don't take that personally, because you know, it's like everyone's behaviour is a reflection of themselves. If somebody doesn't have the balls to say, I don't want to date you, or just please know that isn't about you, it's about them. Or if somebody treats you shockingly, it is your problem if you carry on allowing them to treat you shockingly. But if they treat you shockingly, that's so about them. And like, that can be about dating in general. It doesn't need to be about like dating apps. So everything is always a reflection of like their inner world. So if somebody kind of wants to treat people like that, then know that that's about them, and that's a shame. And you maybe thought that they were a different kind of way, but they're not. But that's kind of like a lesson for like anything.
Definitely. I think. Very good points.
But there we go. I mean, I think we could talk about this for hours. What an interesting topic. So Enzo has 60 seconds to wrap up this topic for us. Okay. Tell us your final thoughts and go.
Well, I think if you're thinking to do it, just do it. It's not that deep. The fact that you download an app and you match with people, you talk to them, doesn't mean that you need to meet them, if that's your fear. I think a good thing is to download one of the apps, whatever you feel, or one or two, open your profile and start browsing around, see how it feels, see how people are. And also try to like see how, because, you know, also try to spot fake people is important. Like, try to, you know what I mean?
God, like catfishing or something like that.
If
Absolutely
some photos look so fake or things like that, when you start looking at the app more and more, it's like Instagram. You start to see like, oh, this look a bit weird or something like that. I think overall, start, open it, give it a go, close if you don't want, but you don't have to be forced. Like, I think it's good to at the beginning to just have it and like have free conversations and try to discover who you are in this new world, and that's fine. You don't need to be forced to anything, because it's a free app.
2 seconds.
You can do whatever you want. So,
and you're done. Yeah. And I just also wanted to say, is there another way? Because I think people will be watching us and think, dating apps might be terrible, but how the hell else am I going to meet somebody?
I think you have to go to a bar, sitting in the bar, and wait for someone to sit next to you and be like in the mood, like, hello, baby.
Because I think, hello, baby.
Do you want a drink? I think that still happens, but... You know, I think it's a lot to like imagine, beautify yourself, look at your best, and go to a bar and sit. And well, I mean, there are bars for that. I think there are bars specifically for people that are looking for dates. So that's the thing. But it's a bit of like, you know, like how you say, like preparation, like courage. Like, okay, I'm going to a place that I know I need to find male by someone for a date. It's a lot.
Do you know what I think I find hard about dating for myself currently? Is I've never, I don't mean this how it sounds, but I've never I've never had to look for a relationship. I was always in that because I was in a really long relationship from teenage and then with a relationship with somebody else who I'd met. But this is like the first time that I'm actually looking. And I think it really changes it, doesn't it? It's like, oh God.
It's not organic.
Not organic at all. Not because even if you say that you go to a bar,
it's not organic.
Like, but you're looking.
You're looking for it.
It's still not organic.
It's still not organic.
It's not organic at all.
I think organic will be going to a party or you met some random person.
Or you have a friend and then it turns into something more or something like that. Or
dating.
It's a bumpy, tricky world out there in those dating apps. Please do take care of yourself.
So if you have a fun story, please share with us your fun, horrible dating stories. We can make another episode about horrible dates. Always fun.
Oh, super. Guys, thank you so much for watching and listening. So happy to be back.
Yes. Remember to like, subscribe. If you are on Spotify, you can rate now. So just rate very quick. If you are on YouTube, subscribe, like, all of that.
For sure.
Thank you so much, guys.
See you next week.
See you.
Bye. Guys.